saying that says that a tree doesn't make a forest, right? So you need several trees to be able to have a forest. And looking at the landscape of the continent and looking at people doing different kind of things, AfriLab sits at a strategic position in a way that okay, we can influence policies, right? Whereby we can help these individuals working on several things in different locations in the continent to be able to guide them and also grant them access to opportunities in terms of okay, is it funding, maybe programs that needs to be implemented by partners from outside the continent and the likes of them like that, or within the continent. So at the end of the day, what we are trying to do at AfriLabs is making sure that everyone thrives, right, within the African continent in a way that it translates to an economic growth, right? Because an economic growth in whatever country contributes to the entire continent in general.
Welcome to another episode of Value Seller Talks, where we bring inspiring conversation with industry leaders who are driving innovation, shaping economies, and creating meaningful impact. I'm your host Deepak Bajaj, and today we have a very special guest, Abdulmumin, a dynamic technology leader contributing to Africa's vibrant digital future. Abdul is a senior technology officer at AfriLabs, an organization who is empowering over 400 tech hubs across the African continent. With more than 15 years of experience across information technology, web application, UX design, and game design, he is playing a pivotal role in enabling innovation, supporting startups, and strengthening Africa's tech ecosystem. Beyond AfriLabs, Abdul is a co-founder and creative director of Ocean Tide Studios Limited, a game and interactive media company that brings African culture, creativity, and storytelling to the life. Abdul is deeply passionate about leveraging technology for the impact, whether it's in education, community empowerment, or creative innovation. His work demonstrates how tech can be a powerful tool to tell stories, shift mindsets, and create opportunities across the continent. So, in today's episode, we will explore the evolution of Africa's tech ecosystem, the future of interactive media, role of innovation in social transformation, and how startups can scale sustainability in an ever changing dynamic landscape. Welcome, Abdul, on the Value Seller Talks.
Thank you very much, Deepak. I'm glad to be on this podcast today.
Thanks for taking your time. I know we are scheduling it from last few months, but you were totally occupied, so I totally understand. Although with reading your introduction, definitely it seems that you that getting a time from you is a really a tough thing. But thank you for taking out your time. Highly
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for having me. Yeah.
Right. Abdul, if I look at your portfolio, you know, your achievements, your accolades are quite right, and you are always a center of attraction, speaker in the multiple events. But before we move there, I would like to know who is Abdul as a person.
Okay. So I'm Abdulmumin Muslim Idris. That's my full name. So my career have already gone around different phases. I have started, or let me say, I started my journey into technology in 2008. All right.
Yep. So,
All right. So I started from 2008. That was when I started my journey into technology, and then at that time, I mostly focused on development. And then from there, I that is where I started studying. JavaScript, C++, and C, and the likes of them like that. Just being a developer in general. And then that led me to university days where I focused mostly on web application development and the likes of them. So one interesting thing I would like to say about myself was that throughout my school years, I never took any course that had to do with creative, uh, like graphics design or any other thing, right? I never took courses related to that. And then at that time, I just keep telling myself, look, Abdul, you're a developer. That's where it ends. I focus mostly on back end development, but after university, I wanted to. I know that I wanted to tell stories, and then I wanted to be able to inspire other people, right? And another thing is that I'm a very camera shy person. I don't want to be in front of cameras, so I figured, okay, how do I go about this, right? So, which also led me to the whole aspect of using technology to be able to uh, provide this to be able to help people, right? In that way. So I stumbled upon animation, then I went into graphic design, UI, UX. So I believe, okay, using technology to just help people, it's like one of the aspect for that. And then also in terms of yeah, I'm married. Uh, so from personal interest, actually, really, it's all about telling stories for impact, to be specific. And then there are different ways in which that can happen. I love Formula One racing, and sometimes I do try my best in go-karting uh, as a hobby. And then yes, I do play game a lot at the same time. So yeah, so basically, that's Abdul in a very nutshell.
Yeah, a shy person. Yeah, that's the reason, it takes some time for you to come to the show, right?
Exactly.
No, 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 but thanks for bringing. Yes, I understand what we did on our colleges and what we are doing is totally different, right?
Exactly.
So when you say storytelling for the impact, what do you mean by that?
So there are several ways in which we make impact, right? And then how we tell that story is very important. Like for
Mm,
example, now each story we tell has some kind of a lesson to be
mm,
learned from it. So it can be that okay, yes, we develop maybe for example, now let me just give you a simple example. We develop a platform at AfriLabs, right, which is called the AfriLabs Connect. Now, what we did with that platform is okay, how do we bring the entire innovation ecosystem together in one
mm,
place? Now, the story behind building that particular platform is all about improving the economy of Africa, of the continent in general,
mm.
right? So that is how we put it. So in that case, if we are talking about story for impact, that is the lesson behind that particular journey of okay, yeah, you getting developers, you getting UI UX designers in one place, thinking. So the entire journey at the end of the day, it's all about how do we improve the economy of the
Well,
African continent in general. So if we look at it that way, it just simply translates, okay, yes, this is an example of stories for impact.
interesting. So,
Mm,
now, generally, people say the stories, give the references, gets the inspiration. Now,
yeah.
you're connected with multiple youth. So, how you feel that how the youth of Africa is actually taking these stories? Are they really implementing it? Are they taking any guidance from this? Based on your general experience as you're meeting multiple youth and multiple people across different cultures.
Yes. So Africa is a very big continent with a huge population of youth, right? And
Mm,
then every day, these youth are doing one thing or the other. They are doing something very great, something very marvelous or the other. So how do we make this information or how do we get this known to the entire community, right? So, or how do we get this known to the entire world in general? It's by we actually be the one telling the stories ourselves. right? And which
Mm,
is one of the way in which AfriLabs Connect is there for us to tell the stories of these young individuals, either championing a startup or building a particular product that is helping their initial community, right? So this is helping we need to tell the stories to the entire world so that we won't have a situation whereby all the time what we hear from the African continent is uh, bad stories without
mm,
more of progresses and the likes of them in the on the African continent, right? So, and like I said, the young people are really, really doing a lot of things, which they are the majority of the population in on the continent itself.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Tell me something about Afri Labs.
So AfriLabs is an interesting organization. And then one of the reasons why I said it's an interesting organization is that we are not really thinking about individuals, right? Rather, we are thinking about how do we make the community thrive in general. It's all
Mm,
about community, and then how do we achieve this? It's
yeah,
Yeah, so
I can
there's
hear
that
you.
saying, yeah, there's that saying that says that a tree doesn't make a forest, right? So you need several trees to be able to have a forest. And
Mm,
looking at the landscape of the continent and looking at people doing different kind of things, AfriLab sits at a strategic position in a way that, okay, we can influence uh, policies, right? Whereby we can help these individuals working on several things in different locations in the continent to be able to guide them and also grant them access to opportunities in terms of, okay, is it funding, maybe programs that needs to be implemented by partners from outside the continent and the likes of them like that, or within the continent. So at the end of the day, what we are trying to do at AfriLabs is making sure that everyone thrives, right, within the African continent in a way that it translates to an economic growth, right? Because an economic growth in whatever country contributes to the entire continent in general. And then in this way, it takes people out of uh, the struggle that they are facing. And at the same time, yes, we might be we interact with the innovation hubs all across the continent, but at the end of the day, the beneficials or the beneficiaries of this whatever programs we run and the likes of them, it's always going to be the last person in the community, right? Which simply means that yes, we might be at the top helping this innovation hubs, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is that the people in that particular community where that project is being run or where the our platform can reach benefits more from it, and then from benefiting from it, it actually translates to um, economic growth in the and on the continent itself.
mm. So it's a first of all, managing a 400 plus startups under the one roof.
500 plus.
Oh, 500 plus, sorry. So
Yes.
500 plus startups under one roof, from all across different regions from Africa. It's
Yeah.
itself is a, it's not an easy task to handle. So how you manage
It's not.
those people?
So, like I said, it's mostly around, we don't like try to control what they do, right?
Mm,
Because they are all individual entities and on their own. So basically, what we just try to make sure that we do is that we make sure that they are doing their organ or running their individual organization the right way it's supposed to be run. Where they need capacity building, we provide capacity building for them. Where they need policy influence or where they need access to funding or where they need access to what do you call where they need access to opportunities, we try to provide that for them, right? So we are not like the an organization that says, okay, you have to do it this way, right? So you have the freedom to run your organization. What we are trying to do or what we are doing is to make sure that, okay, the community stays the same. We are all on a line on the objective that the continent is heading towards, and then how do we achieve this together. Like I said, all what we are doing, it's backed by the power of the community itself in general. So the community have to come together, align, and then be able to push forward in order for us to achieve the goal that we have.
Hmm. Tell us more about what type of startup you have, like which type of category are they deep tech, they are agricultural. Uh, just
Well,
give us some idea
so
about it.
basically, we are not they are not startups, right? They are innovation hubs like incubators, fab labs, and the likes of them that houses other startups, right? Or under them. And then in our community, we are not specific. We're not. I would say that we are sector agnostic, right? So it doesn't matter whether you are in deep tech, you are in agri-tech, ed tech, fintech, and the likes of them like that. As long as the hubs or as long as you are providing solutions that have to do with technology, right? So you are beneficiary of our freelance. It can be climate tech, it can be anything that have to do with green energy and so on and so forth like that, right? So that is it's a community of all innovation enablers. But like I said, we interact mostly with the innovation hubs who now spread whatever it is we provide them to the startups themselves.
Interesting. Now,
Yeah,
if I take a step back, right? Africa
yeah,
maybe 5 years back versus Africa today, there's a lot of
yeah.
improvement and development. But
Yes.
currently, what are the key challenges which you have seen, which has to be fixed immediately?
So I think one of the major challenge it's digital infrastructure, right? So there's a heavy reliance around infrastructures outside the continent, right? And then if we can get a much better digital infrastructure, a much better infrastructure set up in on the continent, it's really going to help it's going to help the startups in terms of accessing resources that they need to be able to build all this. And also, one of other challenge is this I always have to deal with, let's say, subscription models that are always out there with all these platforms. So let's pick an example and say, okay, we have maybe there's an AI platform that you want to subscribe to for you to be able to access the APIs and build a product around that, right? So the costing, it's not, should I use the word Africa friendly, right?
Mm,
Because it's most of the time it's always going to be, okay, yeah, the cost have to be in X amount of US dollars or a British pounds or euro and the likes of them like that. So, but the purchasing power in Africa is not as huge as that, right?
mm,
But in Africa, there are people who also want or who have the ideas to be able to implement solutions that will benefit the community using those products. So, but because the pricing model is not suitable for the continent, they
mm,
won't be able to access that, right?
right.
And which brings up, yes, granted, there have been situation whereby this organizations will give you maybe some credits for you to be able to access this platform, or they will give you some programs and the like something like that. But still, not everyone still have access to that. But if it's something that there's the pricing model, it's also aligned with the African continent, it's going to be much more easier for people to be able to make sure that, okay, yes, they can access this services, which also at the end of the day brings us back to the whole infrastructure that I'm talking about, right? So if there's no one of which is also one of the major challenge that we have there.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, you rightly mentioned digital infrastructure, pricing strategies, as well as the problem which a common man is handling day in day out. So
Yeah,
let me take one example. Let's say today Africa is an agricultural continent, right? You are a
yes,
big exporter. So
yes.
can you give some references of any startup who is working in this agriculture domain? Or maybe child benefits or child health, something like this.
Yeah, there are several platforms, or let me say several startups who are doing something great around the agri tech business, right? So there are different of them, and then also one interesting thing is that they are not just looking at it's cut across the entire value chain of agriculture. So we have startups in Africa who are dealing with, okay, how do you manage your livestock, right? So you have products that digital product that allows you to manage your livestock. Let's say, for example, you're into livestock farming, right? Or probably maybe there are platforms who are that allows you to be able to understand how your plants are doing in real time and so on and so forth like that, using IoT devices to be able to make, especially around irrigation farming and the likes of them like that. So yes, there are platforms that allow you to do that. Even I think recently on there's a particular current project that was run at AfriLabs, sponsored by the GCA. Now, there's one of the startups there in Cameroon, which I know I had a very interesting communication with them, is that they build a platform whereby you get to scan the leaves on your plant, and then it tells you the health status of that particular plant, right?
Hmm.
So by you just scanning, and then it takes the leaf of that particular plant, it tells you what is the health status of it, if there are any infection on it, and so on and so forth like that. So, and this is also in Africa, right? So it's there are so many startups doing something interesting around agri-tech to be specific.
Wow. No,
Yeah,
sounds really interesting because just to pluck a plant, a leaf, and then you are telling the whole situation. So,
yeah,
how savings they are able to make and how they are ensuring that the farmer, should not get impacted at the end of the, his farming cycle. And,
exactly.
the whole communities, I can imagine, the by improving the life of a farmer, improving
Yeah,
the
you improve the
quality,
life of everyone.
everyone, yes, improving the life, as well as, you are giving a quality products to the consumer also.
Exactly.
Right? So these are some factors, this is there. And I'm just now getting more curious how these people are getting hold on such advanced technologies. Are they built within Africa, or well, who are the developer? Like they develop these technology or what?
Yes, they are developers within African continent. So Africa has a lot of developers, and then so many of them are doing something really, really great and very, very interesting. And because the world is a global world now, there's no really barrier whenever it comes to learning, right? So the resources are out there. You can access them either via YouTube or whatever it is. And even in some of within the continent, there are so
Mhm.
many other resources in terms of learning and then seeing how you can develop products like this. So yes, they are this all these products are developed by engineers in Africa, not really like engineers outside. Yes, we may maybe get some APIs from one product that has been developed by someone out there, right? So, but all these processes are being developed in-house.
It's impressive. So, if I look at the new Africa, Africa 2.0, so
Yeah.
what is the key trend which you look, which is shaping this new African innovation and the new digital innovations?
Well, I think one of the major things that is shaping this, it's looking at, okay, what are the local needs, right? What is needed locally and solutions that can be used locally, right? Previously, Africa has always been around importing solutions, right?
Hmm.
And then when you import the solution, it's definitely not going to work because it wasn't built for the people in that particular location, right? So one thing that has been pushing this has been that, okay, yes, developers has been, or let's say startups have been really looking into, okay, solutions that actually solve the local needs, right? And then contributing to that. And also, yes, the whole the whole coming of AI has always has made things much more easier in the way that, okay, yes, you can just get a model, train that model for your local solution, and then it provides you with a much more faster approach to build your solution. So yeah, they are that's one that's like one of the major aspect that I see, that, okay, yes, it's something that has really uh affect, or something that has really contributed to
Yeah.
the African 2.0. It's all about, okay, yes, we need to build solutions for ourselves and for the people on the continent. And since we have the strength of the developers and then the startups coming up, so it makes the entire thing much more easier.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's the power of the collaboration,
exactly.
development, brainstorming, and a real teamwork. Right.
Exactly. The entire community coming together to provide solutions.
No,
Yeah,
that's lovely because as you rightly mentioned, this AI, AR, VR, Industry 4.0, these all are security, blockchain, these all are becoming an integral part of the whole community, and you cannot move away from any
from
of
it.
these aspects.
Exactly.
If I give you a magic wand, right?
Yeah.
How the Africa 2.0 looks to you? How you visualize that Africa 2.0?
Basically, a connected Africa where solutions are provided. And then, or let me just say a connected Africa whereby I'm in Ghana and then I can access a solution that works for me, which was
Mm,
built, let's say, in a place like Uganda, right?
mm,
So without the whole barrier of having the whole issue of okay, yeah, I have to build a product for this because if we look at it, some of the problems that we face in Africa are similar to each other. They might not be the same, but rather similar, right? So
yeah.
if we can get a solution whereby it cut across the continent, right? That is going to be like a perfect, like for example, now let's pick a solution probably maybe around education, right?
Mm,
So let's assume we have one solution that cut across all the localities of the the continent and easy access to all this maybe cost contents and the likes of them like that regardless of okay yes you have access to the resources to do that but you can still have access to a quality education so if we
yeah.
can have a solution like that it's going to cut across the entire continent and the value for that is really going to be a very great value for the growth of the continent itself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you solve the basic problem of connectivity. And once you are connected, then you can run any sort of transactions, development, exchange of goods, everything you
exactly,
can make it
exactly,
possible.
exactly.
Interesting, interesting. If I take a few steps back, right,
Yeah,
from your own experience of UX game designing, so
yeah.
how these human-centered design will be shaping the next Africa 2.0?
So, like I said, from the previous conversation that we were having, I mentioned that we need to build solution for the people, right?
Mm,
It's rather than exporting or rather than importing solutions. Now, human-centered design, it simply help every startup, right? Not just the people themselves, but the startup. It helps the startup in a way that you are building a product for the people who are actually going to use it. And if you don't put them into consideration when you are building this product, you are building a product that will not, number one, will not succeed.
mm,
Number two, you won't be able to scale that particular product. And if you can scale a product, it's right from beginning, your startup or whatever that product is, it's already failed,
mm,
right? Right from beginning. And then how do you get to uh, scale or how do you get to build a product that is going to scale is number one by you making sure that okay yes you involve the humans that are going to interact with this particular platform right or
mm,
that particular product sorry I'm using the word platform we can use product right so the product can be a hardware product it can be a software product so when we think about human-centered design majority of the time we think about human-centered design around digital solutions right?
Mm,
But human-centered design cut across not only digital solutions, but also down to even physical products that you're selling. How you design a cup or how you design a cup holder and so on and so forth like that. It's all about people interacting with that particular product. So if you can include the users right from the beginning of your product design, it's actually going to help you a lot. And another aspect is that because you're interacting with the people, it's going to
mm,
be easier to integrate the cultural differences or the cultural relevance. This way, you are building a product that has inclusion at mind, right? So you are not
mm,
just building a product for everyone, but you're building a product that include or that have element of considering the cultural behavior of those particular people or of your targeted users. You're also thinking about okay, anything that have to do with either ethical or bias or anything in your product because you know that you are targeting this set of local people and then they have a way of doing things. So if you go ahead and build a product without thinking about them from the beginning, then your product is not going to scale right from the inception. So
correct.
human-centered design, when it comes to building product, it's very, very important. And then lastly, it helps you create this product together with the users,
Mm,
right? And this is like a co-creation kind of a thing. And the users will feel like, okay, yes, we are building this because you understand our pain point, you understand where we are coming from, and then because of this, we have a product that it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win um, for the users and also for you, the startup. It's a win for you, and then you're able to grow your startup, grow your scale your products and make profit out of it.
mm, correct. No, it's a co-creation. I love that idea. Giving the power to the user to actually contribute. And
Exactly.
because what I understand and what I have seen from my last 20 years, that more you talk with the customer, the better you get the refinement of your product, right?
Exactly.
Or even your
Exactly.
ideas also, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfection is illusion. It's always go and to go with the product what you have, brainstorm them. Don't try to sell them, but try to get more information about their experience. Because after 5, 7 people, customer you met, the eighth person will definitely will be in a good position to buy because you have answered all the
Exactly.
points. Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, this is one of the challenges with most of the startups have, right?
Yeah.
They have the basic understanding, they know what they want to do, but they fail when it comes to the execution, right?
Yes.
Now, how you define the market success for that startup where the customer expectation is changing every time?
Okay. I think it connects to what we just discussed now, which have to do with the whole human-centered design, right? So you are building a product, and then the success of your product simply translates to how are your users interacting with that product.
Mm,
Because you build a product and then no one is using it, or probably maybe your users are using it, but they are not really satisfied with it, right? And in that case, it simply means that you build a product that is not usable, or you build a product that it's not scalable for
mm,
all the users. So in that case, number one, you didn't think about the human factor of your product. Number two, you did not actually involve the users in building that particular product, right? Which simply translates to the fact that your product it's not usable, not scalable, and then it's going to be very difficult for you to get more users to be able to use this product of yours because it wasn't there. So success of a product depends on depends on the usage of this particular product. It also depends on the scalability of your product, and at the same time, making sure that whatever that product is solving the problem of that particular user base that you have.
mm. Interesting. Interesting. But let me take a one realistic situation, right?
Okay.
As you're talking with 500 plus startups, so what type of
Hubs.
common mis hubs, sorry. So what type of common problems you are facing that the startup, a person who just come out from the engineering graduation or who just become an entrepreneur or who just, started his business venture, what are the common problem they are facing or they are making and how they can avoid that?
So one of the common problem have to do with understanding the industry you're coming into, right? So let's assume, yeah, okay, yeah, you have a passion. I want to build a product in agri-tech, or I want to build a product in ed tech and the likes of them. Number one, you need to understand not just only uh, what you want to build, but also understand the ecosystem around that particular uh, industry, right? So if we pick what do you call if we pick edtech for example, you have to make sure that, okay, you understand what are all the processes, the policies, what are all the different type of
Yeah, I can hear you.
hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, sorry, the network was holding.
That's
So as I was saying, what are the you need to understand the entire ecosystem or the entire value chain of that particular uh, industry that you're going into. The policies, who are the policy makers, how do you, what are the policies around it, and so on and so forth like that. One of the major challenge there is that these entrepreneurs don't really understand the industry they are going into. And then this becomes a problem when you have already built a product and then now, because of the regulations in that particular sector and so on and so forth like that, it's stopping your product from going forward. That's
Mhm.
one of the major challenge that you get to see. And at the same, and which is where at AfriLabs we provide the whole capacity building uh, through the AfriLabs Academy platform, which, yes, you'll be able to make sure that, okay, before you jump into any venture, you should be, there are courses there that can enable you as an entrepreneur who is thinking about being an entrepreneur, enable you to be able to have an understanding of, okay, this is the journey of being an entrepreneur, especially this is the journey of being a digital entrepreneur. You
Mm.
building products that benefits the people. What are the process? How do you get from point A to point B down the line? So um, AfriLabs is helping solve that, helping the community to solve that by providing capacity building through the AfriLabs Academy platform. So that is one aspect of challenges that this startups make. And at the same time, one another challenge is that majority of these entrepreneurs, they are consumed by the love of their product. So
Mm.
you need to let go of your product sometimes and let the user understand or bring in experts to let you on to look at to give you a completely different view of your product. And how do you get that? You get that by research, right?
Mm.
So I want to build a product now, and then I just went directly into building without going through the entire process of uh, the user human-centered design steps. So I did not make my feasibility studies. I did not understand the users. I just feel like, okay, yeah, this is a product I want to build, and I feel it's going to go a long way. I just went directly into building. So uh, I think for all anyone who is trying to build a product, one thing I would always like to say is that start by understanding the industry and then also understand the users you want uh, this product it's meant for. So if you understand the industry, you understand policies, who and who of the industry, and then you come back, make a research with your users to understand what is the pain point that they are facing in this industry. It's going to help you to build a product that is going to benefit them and also the policymakers and also benefit you as a startup founder And then at the end of the day, this will translate to you building a scalable platform that will benefit people, you making your money, and then also the users getting the benefit out of the product you're building.
Mm. Wow, it's too much to do, right? It's just too much. But I love that concept which you say, let your product go. If it is not
Yeah,
matching and you have done all the things, so don't keep it close to your heart. Sometimes it's better to move out, remove it, ignore it, and then start building something which you really find out.
something.
And that will
Exactly.
actually happen when you talk with, few clients, six, seven clients, 10 clients, then you understand, okay, something which is because that will give a real perspective and a real opportunity to buy the product or use the product from your side. That's
Exactly.
it's a interesting phenomena. Hmm. And but other than that, from a startup ecosystem point of view, uh, right. So, what are is there any specific African cultural or community-centric use case which you feel is still missing today in this evolving landscape or the new ecosystem of the startups and the incubators that should be built?
Well, I think it's just all about integrating because there are several very when building a product, you really need to put all this into consideration. So one thing I would say is that there's for startups, they need to think about the cultural norm in
Hmm.
Africa when building solutions, right? And then try to integrate this into whatever products that you are building. And this is going to help in terms of acceptance of the product in the community, right? And it's a you have to look at because of the diverse nature of the cultures in Africa. I would like to say that okay, you have to look at your immediate environment and see how you can build a product that actually adapts to the cultural norm in that particular community, right?
Hmm.
So, and which is where uh, the AfriLabs community come into play because with AfriLabs, we are dealing with the entire continent, which simply means you get to see different cultural norms in different locations. And if you are a hub, that's probably maybe you are a hub in Uganda, and then there's another hub probably in Nigeria, you will notice that the cultural norm in these two places are different. Now, by enabling collaboration among these two different hubs, it's going to create like a kind of a cross-cultural collaboration whereby each side brings in their own uh, cultural differences, and then a particular result or a product can be created from those type of collaboration.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Uh, but yeah, collaboration is a key to success, right? That's a message which I'm
Yes,
getting all the time, right? So
exactly.
now, one thing I want to understand here is, again, this is from a Abdul perspective that you are handling these teams,
Okay.
multiple teams coming from different part of the continent. So, what leadership qualities which matter are most to handle such wide variety of individuals, personalities, as well as the thought processes? So, what message you want to give it to the upcoming leaders?
So I think number one, you have to be empathetic, right? Empathy is one of the major quality of leadership. And then if you are being empathetic, you get to put yourself in the person's shoe, right? And then looking at, okay, you're dealing with different individuals, different communities, different cultural background, and the likes of them like that, you have to first of all understand where that person is coming from. Yes, I know you're all trying to develop a product, you're all trying to do something very interesting, but at the same time, it defeats the purpose if you don't understand your team members, right?
Hmm.
It defeats the purpose if you don't understand the people you are working with. And how do you get to understand the people you are working with? It's by you putting yourself in their shoes, looking at things in their own perspective as well. Yes, you want to make sure that yeah, you assert your authority and make sure okay, yes, this is what needs to be done. But at the same time, you have to look at how does that translate to the person you're speaking to, right? And at the same time, you have to be very, very open-minded because when you're open-minded, it helps you understand, okay, look, I don't know it all, right? Yes, granted, I'm at the point of where I'm steering what happens and the likes of them. But put it at the back of your mind that yes, you might bring up a suggestion that will not work. So you need to be open-minded to whoever, it doesn't matter the level of the person. You need to be open-minded to like, okay, when they give you an advice or when they give you a suggestion, their own opinion, think about it very well and then see if it's going to help solve the particular problem you're trying to solve, right? So being empathetic, being open-minded helps you a lot in terms of the different type of individuals that you meet. But like I said, at the same time, you also need to assert your leadership role in whatever conversation that you're having because you are there as the leader, right? Yes, granted, you're open-minded, you have gotten information from different people, but you still have to make the decision, right? And then while making this decision, it shows that, okay, yes, you are there. And then you shouldn't be afraid to seek for advice from your colleagues. You shouldn't be
Mhm.
afraid to seek for advice from the people you are working with. Seeking for advice or seeking for opinion doesn't make you lesser, but rather it makes you more open to more ways to create a much better solution or a much better environment to provide a product or to provide form of leadership in the community that you serve.
Mm. Interesting. Yes. Again, the message which I'm getting and reading within the lines is being a social person. Understand what is going on. Be open. Share your ideas because I have seen that people fear and scared if they share their ideas. Be open. Share your ideas. Try to talk about what problem you're solving. Maybe you get few more points which become a feature of your product and can help you to get the more
Exactly.
absorption within the market. Right. No, it's a
Exactly. I
important.
always say something
Yeah.
in my interaction with some youths, they always complain that, oh, I don't want to share my idea so that someone will not steal my idea. Then what I always tell them is, look, no one can steal your idea. Yes, they can steal what you tell them, but execution is always you. How you intend to execute your idea is completely different from how another person is going to execute it. So one have done it before, or someone have.
Hmm.
Hello, did you
Yes,
get what I
yes,
said?
yes. I heard it clearly. Yes.
No,
Execution is the key to your success because ideas are everywhere, but those who
exactly,
execute it, those who put his brain and blood into that and sweat into that, that's where the execution comes. So
exactly.
otherwise, the problem is on the table since ages. Very well said. But one thing I love to understand that uh, while creating this whole ecosystem, right, it will be a difficult for you also to go and read each and every policy, right? And then
Mm.
also inspire the policy makers to move into that step. So can you share some of the instance which you tried but you failed? Or the success stories are many, but some instances which is a nightmare for you, and you're still
So,
struggling to get that thing done.
sorry, can you take the question again? The line was breaking a bit.
Sorry, I'm saying for you, the success stories is
Yeah.
many, but there may be some instances where you are trying to bring some new policies or refine some policies for the
Hmm.
betterment of the society, but you're not able to achieve so. So, is there any instance in your mind which you want to share with us, which is a very hard nut to crack?
Well, I think. influencing policies, it's something that it's very, very difficult to do. And then also success of implement, because yes, you can influence the policy to the point whereby it's accepted. But now when it comes to the implementation of that policy, it becomes a problem, right?
Mm.
And it becomes something very difficult. I think one of the policy, I would say that AfriLabs have really had success in terms of influencing or in terms of contributing to is the current Startup Act in Nigeria, right? And then, yes, it was a success, it has been pushed, but the problem or the major problem is that I think out of 36 states, including the federal capital, uh, only few states have actually actualized that Startup Act in their own state.
Mm.
So the implementation it's very very slow. And at the same time, so that on its own is a challenge because yes, some states have already started using that policy, while some states do not even have a headway to see okay or to state this is where we're going to start from, and this affects the startups in terms of how they build their product, in terms of the support they have in in that particular state, and so on and so forth like that, which makes collaboration with those states a little bit challenging because they don't have the infrastructure or they don't have a structure that is backing them in terms of how they go about their businesses. So it makes it much more difficult for them to run their organizations in those states where the Startup Act has not really been actualized or implemented.
Yeah, bringing anything in the on the panel in the act, it's a really a challenging thing. Uh,
Yes,
I'm pretty much sure your energy and your lot of efforts are going into that direction, but it will definitely come into the picture very soon. We wish for that
yes,
because it's
yeah,
not only for one region; it's for the whole Africa.
exactly.
Let me ask a very common asked question nowadays. Now,
Okay.
AI is something which is going to uh, take the job of a employee, right? This is what we
Hmm.
heard. And those people
Yeah,
who learn AI, they will be safe. But
yes.
how you think that is a AI is a job giver or job taker? Well, it means
Well,
the layoff or is there because you are playing AI every day.
exactly. So, for me, I would say AI is actually a job giver,
Hmm.
right? And at the same time, it's there to help you free up some time because before AI, it's difficult to automate some tasks, right? So now, what I would just say is that okay, if you don't want AI to take your job, you learn AI, and then you focus on how do you implement AI in whatever it is you're doing. So recently I was on a panel that had to do with creatives, right? And then the one of the questions that was asked is that AI is going to replace creatives. And I said,
Hmm.
no, AI is not going to replace creative. Why? Because AI is a tool that you have to feed it something. And
Hmm.
based on what you feed it, then it's going to return something for you. Now, the creativeness is not in the AI, but rather in you, the creative, that you are trying to create something, right? So your creativity still remains the same, but rather, instead of you looking at AI as a tool that is going to replace you, you look at AI as a tool that will help improve your creativity or
Hmm.
that will help fast track your creative process. So, for example, you are a graphic designer and then you want to go through a particular iteration. So, instead of spending 2 hours to go through that iteration without AI, now with AI, you can go through that iteration in, let's say, 30 minutes. So, you
Hmm.
have an hour and a half for you to do whatever it is you want to do.
To think and become creative in that space.
Exactly. So it depends on how you use the tool and then how you get to learn the tool. And every day, one thing I'm also going to add here is that we push the word around AI, and the likes of them like that. But I would also like to see we implemented AI to solve local problems,
Hmm.
to solve local pain points that is going to benefit the people. And also, based on the conversation we had around the human-centered design, if we can look at a local tool, or if we can look at a local problem and use AI to solve that, it's going to be much more easier for the local people to embrace the AI and also understand that it's a tool that they can use to further make a difference. So that way, we are not just teaching AI, but we are also teaching the people, or we're also showing the local community how this AI can benefit them and they embrace it. That way, we won't have a situation whereby we come to a generation whereby there are people that do not have a job because they fail to understand or because they fail to understand what AI is all about. So
Mm.
I don't see AI as a something that is going to take away your job, except if you refuse to move with the tide.
Agree, agree. Yes, I 100% align with you. You have to be creative. You have to be a thoughtful person. Your job will not go like a copy and paste. Maybe
Exactly.
the people who is doing administrative thing, they have a challenge. The people who are just doing a copy paste, that may have a problem. But the people who really put and thoughts, and this creativity will come when you are talking with the customer more and more, because
Exactly.
every
Exactly.
every phase of that journey is $1 million economy, right? So,
Exactly.
hmm. So a very important message from Abdul to the audience: don't lose your creativity, nerves or pulses, right? Strengthen this creativity nerves, and start thinking about whatever the activity you are doing in your task. Maybe what's the problem you are seeing right now, in your surroundings. Just focus on that and try to build something really good out of it. Interesting. Thank you, Abdul, for this particular important message, and also to give a sense of breather to the people who are really afraid that, if AI has come, the job will be out.
Mhm.
Uh, One more thing I want to ask in this particular context here is that for a entrepreneur or for any business, right? Let's say a mid-level size company, or not, or maybe a person who want to, they face a regular challenge of hiding the resources, right?
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
uh, and they generally blame about it. So how you advise that with the limited resources, how they can grow their business, or is the resource is a real challenge for any company to grow?
Yes, we know that for a company to grow, they need resources, right? Be it talent, be it funding and the likes of them like that. But that is where I always say the power of collaboration, it's a very huge resources on its own. And on my recent panel, I mentioned it as well. When you are building a platform or when you're building a product, you know your strength and you know your weaknesses, right?
Hmm.
So that is where, and which is also where the aspect of saying that you need to let go of your product sometimes comes into play. So you know you are limited on the resources, or let's say, for example, you are building a product and then you are limited, but you have close to you, you have people who have those resources,
Hmm.
right? So instead of you clinging to that part and say, oh, I don't have the resources because of this, my product it's not going, move to the next person who has that resources and offer level of partnership, right?
Hmm.
Offer a level of collaboration because what you need that resources that that person has, it can be a human resources, it can be infrastructure resources that you need, right, from that other person. All you need to do is offer something out of your product or offer something out of your startup. And then it or you are able to achieve a lot by you just offering a partnership or picking up a partnership to help solve that resources challenge you are currently facing.
Hmm.
So, in the nutshell, what I would definitely say is that don't be don't be shy to go for partnership or collaboration because, like I said, a forest is not made by a tree, or a tree doesn't make a forest,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And if you need something to go far, they said you should work together, right? If you need to go fast, you walk alone, right?
Mm.
So that way, that on its own should just tell you that you cannot build everything on your own. And you, once you know your weakness, find a partner that has that has your weakness as a strength. And from there, you'll be able to achieve more when you work together with other people.
Mhm. And also, I want to connect the dot. So don't be fearful that that person will steal your idea, because
Don't.
he could steal that idea. He can do it, before you have ever thought about it. So
And this is where having understanding of the industry come into play. Because if you have an understanding of the industry, you know what are the legal procedures you are supposed to put in place when you are pushing for partnership, right?
hmm,
And then it's going to protect your own product when you are going into partnership with someone. As simple as a non-disclosure agreement, it's something that you can first of all sign before you even having a conversation with any other person, right? And one way or one thing also I would like to push is that okay, the infrastructure by the policymakers, it's going to help in terms of okay, in a situation whereby you have a non-disclosure agreement, it needs to the policymakers needs to find a way to make sure that all these legal documents have a standing and then they are abide by. So
yes.
in especially when it comes to the arbitration and the likes of them like that. So it's something that needs to actually be emphasized so that that is going to help whatever startup to easily have a partnership agreement and then be able to get people that will partner with them to get um, because one of the major scare in partnership it's someone stealing my my idea or someone stealing my product or so on and so forth like that. But if you actually understand the policies that is surrounding your sector, it's going to be much more easier for you to reach out to for partnership.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a very important message, because collaboration is the key in today's world. Obviously, your
yeah,
strength can you leverage other strength, and your products can leverage them also. So it become a win-win situation. So
exactly.
don't consider your customer as a customer. Consider as a partner which will help you to grow. Obviously, maybe one or two customers or one or two partnership will not exist, but it
Yeah.
doesn't stop you to think in to become anti of that particular thought process. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the interest of time, Abdul, I would like to have your advice to the young professionals, creators, startup, technology leaders, that what should they do to make Africa a next digital hub?
Hmm. Okay, so what I'm going to advise is number one, don't be afraid to reach out to people in the community. If you have any idea, get people together, discuss your idea, validate your idea before you jump into writing code. And in fact, before you write your first code, the most important thing it's validate your idea in terms of that. And then also the African community, it's a very huge community. We already are a hub of technology, right, at the particular moment. But one thing that it's missing, it's that connectivity, that sense of collaboration, that sense of belonging together. It's something that we really need to work on. And then this is going to help us provide that community. And like I said, at AfriLabs, we have a platform which is the AfriLabs Connect which brings all innovation enablers. So just think about your role as an innovation enabler. Are you a student? Are you a startup? Are you an investor? And so on and so forth like that. You can all be on that same platform and collaborate together, share your ideas, share what you have been working on, and so on and so forth like that. So with that, we can have a digital hub, or let me say a digital environment whereby there is no barrier in terms of border. So it's a borderless community of African innovation enablers.
Hmm. Yeah. So to the audience, you know whom you have to connect with. Free Labs Connect is a platform. Share your ideas, collaborate with them. I'm pretty much sure you will also learn a lot and you will contribute in the development of Africa as a continent, as a hub for the center of excellence. Right. Abdul, it's a great understanding from your side, and I believe for me it's an eye-opening session. I learned a lot. I have seen, whenever I'm inviting guests from Africa, every time I see a different picture, a different, a tide which is actually going to transform Africa into a different continent, position it
Yeah.
upliftment, and Africa as an exporter of the technology, which has a problem which is similar to most of the countries globally, right?
Yes.
Because we all are having the same challenges, and with a diverse culture you are also giving us a very important message of how to tie your hands, how to collaborate, how to think like a person and human centric, whether it's a user interface, whether it's a designing, whether it's a thought process. It's a really great conversation with you.
Thank you very much.
Any
It was
last
my
message?
pleasure.
Yep. But I will not leave you here, but I want to ask you any last message which you want to share with our audience.
I think the last message is I always and I will continue to believe in the power of collaboration. And because I have seen firsthand what collaboration does in terms of achieving your goal. And then this is why I will keep preaching the aspect of collaboration. That you can't do it alone. That is definitely it. And then when you know your weaknesses, you know how to collaborate much better without having any issue. So collaborate, 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 and then with that, we can build the Africa that we want. You need a solution. Someone has that problem, maybe has that idea or has that strength in Uganda. You are in Nigeria. If you can find a way to communicate this, you can collaborate with them and then have that solution provided. So that is my last message or my final message to everyone here is that find a way to have a much meaningful collaboration, and you will see the difference in terms of you running something alone and running something with the right partner.
Wow, a wonderful and very powerful message. So you are inviting everyone to come and contribute and share your ideas. Don't feel shy because you never know which idea will fly immediately, obviously.
Exactly.
But if you deal with the experts like you within the Africa Labs, Free Labs community, definitely you will upsell and upscale your offerings and refine your products in a much easy manner. And
Exactly.
so, Abdul, if anyone wants to get connect with you, what will be the right channel for them?
I think you can connect with me on LinkedIn or via my email address.
Well,
Yeah, so those are the two aspects. Or you can also connect with me via WhatsApp. I think I send
well,
message easily, so you can get my information from my email as well.
sure. Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you for opening that channel because it will help a lot of people. I will tag you in our when I post this podcast. And thank you so much for your time. And until next time, to our global audience, this is Deepak Bajaj signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.